Annyeong, it's Mikey here, and today I'm coming to you guys with another holific keyboard, and we're going to have to thank OneofZero. Now, they sent me out the new Si75, and this one is going to be a collaboration keyboard that they did with Keychron, so we're going to have to really see, what is this board all about? Is this any good? Check out the performance, try it in gaming, see how the switch sounds, and of course, test, all the different things and even modifications that I might think is necessary. But we're going to see how this is. We're going to have to go right into the unboxing, but please make sure to like and subscribe and come check out the Discord if you want to discuss about more things. So we're going to start with the unboxing of the Si75 HE. Thank you again, OneofZero, for sending me this out. Now, this is going to be a collaboration they did with Keychron, and right away, the packaging already is actually quite nice. Now, inside, you get two manuals, which is really nice. So it's quick start guides that you can use in terms of the board, like how to set it up and all those things. You also get a bunch of stuff inside the box. Now, this is where you can kind of tell they've obviously saved some money in terms of the packaging, right? It's not like in an accessories box, which I really would have appreciated. I think it would have been nice to have it instead of just being covered by like that styrofoam between the keyboard and there. So obviously those are things that would have been nice to see overall, just in terms of like everything. I was wondering what this was, so it's actually going to be a section for like the angles. Now, the angles is actually not something that like you move out like plastic boards normally. You actually replace that with a higher profile version, which just stands out a little bit more. Overall, the build quality does feel quite sturdy, and I think they did a really nice job with this. And as you saw, like inside the box, you get so many different things like extra keycaps. You got the nice braided cable with that's USB-C and 3.0. And they also sent me out this. This is going to be the extra sets that you can purchase to be able to change the colors in your board or even customize it yourself. But we're going to weigh this board before we do a sound test. Anyways, 1 kg. So now that we did the sound test of stock and lube, we're going to go right into doing a teardown. So right away, I thought that, you could use your regular like square screwdriver for this, but no, it needs a little bit of a bigger size. So I had to get a little bit bigger one, but I could use my electric screwdriver, no problem, to get it out. In total, you have 8 screws that needs to be removed to be able to open this up. This is not too difficult to open up. I thought there might be latches after you take out the screws, but nope, it just super easily comes apart. Now, of course, measuring the thickness of it, you have a 5.4 millimeter thickness in terms of the top casing, and then 1.4 on like the sides of it. It has no flex cuts on the PCB, and as you can see there, the USB port is actually going to be connected to the PCB directly, so you don't get like a daughter board or like a ribbon cable or even a data cable. It's just straight into the PCB. And it has no flex cuts in terms of the plate. It is an aluminum plate, and overall the thickness of it is going to be around the 1.5 millimeters, and not too bad. It actually feels a little bit on not like the sturdy size of aluminum. So like compared to other aluminum plates, I think this one didn't feel as like, ringing like normal plate aluminum plate would be like. In terms of the spacebars, it was really cool that they had some foam already pre-built into there. And in terms of the stabilizers, they're actually screw-in stabilizers. And they're kind of interesting in terms of the way they designed it. It actually is a little bit higher up than normal. So you can't really use a syringe to add extra lube. You're going to actually have to take it apart. But overall, the stock lubing was already pretty well done. Now, in terms of the thickness of the foam, as you saw there, it's 1.5 millimeters and it's a decent foam. Actually, I would say that they did a really decent job in terms of like the quality of foam that goes inside and the silicone. And obviously you can remove the silicone because you can change it out to different stuff. But let's go into modifying this PCB. So one of the things I realized in terms of this board, and one thing I felt, was that the sound was very hollow, and the switches are okay. Like the lime switches are not too bad in terms of the downward sound. So I really didn't know what else I should really do with it because it's a lot of dampening, but I actually wanted to do 2 layers of tape, so that's what I did. And then I'm actually going to be changing out the color here. So just to show you guys how to do it, you remove the rubber, and then you're going to also have to remove the sides as well. So all those pieces you actually have to remove by hand. I wish they provided some kind of tool with it. Would be making it so much easier to remove it because it's a little bit difficult. And then putting it back together, I also realized that it's a little bit of work. It took me actually a total of 30 minutes or maybe more than that to just get everything in properly. And something that I realized while putting it in is that because of the way that it is, it's kind of thin and it's like a rubber piece. It's a little bit difficult to push right in properly. So something to keep in mind for yourselves, that if you are wanting to do all this, it's going to be a bit of work. Like you will have to take some time to do it. And I wish they did make it a little bit easier, but it is definitely something I noticed. I'm also going to be using the red angles, and I'm going to do the higher angle for this one. So I changed it up. And then I'm going to put the rubber mat from the red side into it. One thing cool about this board though is the fact that you can actually customize it like all colors into it together. So like you can do it your own way, right? You can do like orange accents on the side and then red mat on the bottom, and then even change up the keycap so that you can do like different types of keycap styles. So let's do a modest sound test and compare it. Now we've done the unboxing and we've done the teardown and modding of this board, and what are my thoughts on it? Overall, I do think personally that the switch for the Keychron, from the Keychron, the lime switch, their magnetic switch from that they use in like the Limo key, and they also using Keychron, and they're using this one, in general will sound nice on the way down, right? So on the way down, you're gonna have a nice sound. The only thing is though, it has a really annoying top out sound. That's the only thing that really bothers me, is like it has this really weird rattle right when it gets back to the top, which is not going to be the greatest sound. And some of you guys will hear that, of course, when I go more in depth into it. I'll actually give you guys more of that closer sound test to it. Overall, though, build quality wise, I really appreciated it. I think it's a really nice plastic build. It feels very sturdy. They did a great job with this, and definitely interesting. It's really cool that you can actually change out the colors, right? As you guys saw, you can do like the blue, you can do orange, you can do red. I got like all 3 different ones to be able to do the different kinds. So super cool that you're able to do that with this board. And I think that they kind of really hit the spot with that aspect of customization. So it's really cool. And a nice thing about this is the fact that you can actually change out the switches with other magnetic switches. So as you know, the Limo key and then Keychron boards, they call it TMR for themselves, and that you can't use other magnetic switches with it. This one, I confirmed with OneofZero that you are able to use other switches, so it is compatible, which is super good. Like that is key. You want that compatibility for these kind of boards. So let's go right into doing a little bit more in depth, seeing the pros and cons, gaming, and comparing it with other boards out there, and seeing how good is this, or is it even worth it. So let's get right into that. Now going right into the review. So as you can see here, after everything, I actually did change out the keycaps just to have a bit of orange, a bit of blue, and red. I might even change out like the sides to match a little bit more. But overall, the build quality, as you can see here, is quite sturdy. Like for a plastic case, they did a great job in terms of actually doing a really nice, like thick and well done build. It felt really nice to feel like overall, and I can give you a sound test. So as you could hear, there isn't really like a hollow sound that comes from it. It's actually very, very sturdy. And one thing I was quite interested in is the fact that they used like a more of a rubber piece for the volume knob. It would have been cool maybe if it was like something a little bit more stronger, sturdy, instead of doing just rubber. It is really cool, as you can see, with like the different keycaps. So they actually provide you the keycaps in box, which is super awesome. So you can actually already customize it that way on your own. And then you can always, of course, change it out if you buy the different parts later. Now, the front like height is going to be about 18 millimeters, and then the back height, as you can see, is going to be the 25.8 millimeters if you use like the low end angle, and then the high end angle you'll get about 32 millimeters. So those are the heights that you're looking at in terms of the board. I really did like the overall design of this board. For a plastic board, it feels quite good. The only thing is though is that the switches, like the Keychron Lime switches, I'm not honestly a big fan of them. They have a very, very horrible top out sound, which I'm not a big fan of, and I'll of course let you guys hear that very soon. But in general though, like the downside of this switch, like when it presses all the way down, has a really decent sound profile to it. It doesn't have too much stem wobble, and overall I think it's like a very decent Hall effect switch. I really did like it when I was trying it with the Limo keyboards. And this one though, I think because of the plastic case and how the sound resonates and everything, it's just emphasizing the top out sound more. So as you can see, right, like without me even trying very hard to bring it back up like that, it still had that kind of top out sound that not a lot of people really are going to like. The thing is, in terms of the loudness of the switch, as you'll see here with our decibel test, you'll see that it's not going to be like the super loudest, but it's going to be a decent volume, right? You're looking at around like the 65 decibel point, which is going to be like a chatting office space area kind of thing. So like where a lot of people are going to be talking with each other. That's kind of like the decibel, like how loud it can be in terms of the decibels for this board with these switches. Nice thing though is I confirmed with OneofZero, and it's that you can use other switches with this, which is awesome because I've had experiences with the Limo key where they were told that you're not able to use any other switches but the ones from Keychron. Nice thing, you can hear that you have a switch for the profiles, so really easy way to just change it. But the only thing is that you get 2 profiles only, so a little bit unfortunate that way. I would have loved to see like at least up to 3, just because you have like maybe a certain game you want to have certain setting, a different game a different setting, and then your typing profile. You really do need a typing profile. Anyone that has a Hall effect board really will need one because it's very difficult to type on in terms of this board. I really did think that overall the special like customizations that you can do was a very nice touch for this board, and it's a pro for this because you're able to make these simple customizations for this board yourself. And the thing is, it's not going to be like crazy expensive either in terms of doing it. I believe they're about $19 for a set, which is not too bad for everything that you're getting with it. Only thing though is the fact that it's very kind of annoying to deal with when you are putting it back in, and it is going to be a little bit of that like, oh, like why isn't this going in, trying to press it in, and then like you're like, oh, why is this just one corner pressing out? So it would have been nice for them to do maybe more of like a plastic piece or something like that, or maybe just a piece that's a little bit thicker or has the ability to be more rigid, so that it's easier to just press it right in, and maybe have a little bit more space available so that it's just easier to deal with, and then have like a little lip there so that you can actually have enough space to put something in to pull it out, and then providing maybe like a tool like that to easily do so. So that's something that I just personally would have highly suggested for them to do something like that, because overall making customization should be easy, not too difficult. Like, it shouldn't cause too much work for someone to really make those changes. But of course, we're going to have to now go in to check the backlighting of this board, see how bright it can be, and like stuff like that. So let's go right into that. Now, right away, we can see here that the brightness of this lighting is actually pretty decent, right? I think that overall, like, they did a pretty good job in terms of how bright it can be, and it has like the nice RGB colors coming through. So I do think that it's very decent in terms of like that brightness of gaming. Like, those out there that really do like and appreciate your gaming and lighting for your board, this is pretty cool. And the thing is, you can't really see it on camera here, by the way. The thing is, you actually lights up around the area like the side accents are, so you'll actually see some like cool colors coming there, and it looks really cool. It's just unfortunate that the camera really wasn't catching it, but in person it's very, very awesome that way. And you do have like 20 different light settings in the software, so a lot of different things, especially if you do a white color. The white back lighting with this whole like custom coloring and this accents is actually probably a really nice thing to look at. Overall, going to the website, so we can see right here, I'm going to go and of course change the pricing to USD, just so that people that in America can see the pricing. It's $149 in Canadian, right? You're looking at that pricing, and then in the States you're looking at $111. That's a very good price. I think when you really consider it, like, I mean, yes, I understand that it is a like plastic case, and some people will think like, oh, but for a plastic case over $100, that's expensive. When you really consider it, it's not that bad, especially for like the quality of work you're getting for this. And they even provide you like a nice guide, so how you can actually change and customize the different color back dampening to the side accents, and you also can download like a firmware if you need it, and like get the bin file. $111, not too crazy. And then the actual accents and like the extra customized kits is like $19. So overall, really a decent value for what you're getting with everything. I think that's one of the things that I actually thought was quite nice about this board, was the whole value proposition with the price. Now, some people might argue, oh, why couldn't it have been cheaper and all that things? But honestly, I think overall, like, when you consider it, this is a very decent, durable, like, plastic kit that is using the Keychron software and everything. I think the Keychron boards are actually very expensive. Like, for holific boards, like the Limo Key and the Keychron stuff, I think it's just kind of too pricey. And this is really like a good entry point that is actually really nice with that kind of customizations that you can really do. So honestly, I think that $111 for an HE board that actually has a decent software and everything is really not a bad price. Now, as you can see here with doing the keyboard inspector testing, so one of the things that you should understand is that sometimes the numbers are going to be a bit higher. It's just going to be due to the scan rate of the board. So the scan rate can affect like the final number that comes out when we're testing. But overall, we are looking at an 8K polling rate board. As you can see with the software, one of the things that I had some notice with the software is that, as you'll see, like, you can make the changes. It's a nice software, but they made a mistake in terms of that bottom section. That whole bottom section, you have to scroll down to look at everything, and it's so difficult to make changes. I don't know what Keychron did to this, but it's something really bad. This is like super bad. I would say they need to fix this really quickly. Like the web app, I was having issues with it like this, where the bottom side is so difficult to type on and like try to make changes on. And as you can see here, right, like I'm doing zoom in, zoom out, just to see if like it can change up, but the website just matches the zoom in, zoom out. So this is something that, oh my goodness, not good. Keychron, please make an update on your guys' software to fix this, because no one wants to deal with this kind of software issues. And to be fair, this might just be my computer that's having this issue. Some people might not be having it, but the fact that I had this means someone could get this, which is going to be really, really annoying to deal with. It's really difficult to make the changes. I was trying my best to work on it, and like it was really frustrating to have those changes go through, because I'm trying to set things up because I need to test it in games and things, and it was having a hard time. It does have snap action, which means that it's going to be rappy snappy for anyone that wants and uses it for like Valorant or CSGO, things like that, though I believe CSGO is technically a banned thing. But the software from Keychron is actually a very, very decent software. I remember when I used the Limo Key, I was quite impressed with it as well. I think that it's actually going to be one of the better softwares out there, with the amount of settings that you can do and like how decent the UI is and like all the things that are available for it. So this is definitely going to be one of the better softwares out there. You do have like the actuation distances, rapid trigger. You can go and change like your RGB settings with the backlighting. There's so much you can do with this. And as you can see on the back, like bottom corner, right, you can even do per key RGB, which is really cool because you can set up like customized different color schemes that you might personally want to do, which is very nice to see. This is something that not every Hall effect board actually has out there, and I think it's something that they should have in softwares, like Routing did it. This is something that is really nice. So you can even see a change on the bottom left corner. You have like wireless firmware, which this board doesn't have wireless, so we don't have to worry about that. And then they also have like a quick start guide settings, so you can just click in there and then set it up easily. This also has macros, which actually the Routing doesn't have, so this is something that's really nice to see there. And you can also change the polling rate from like 125 to like 8,000, and also change the response seconds. It'll give you like a warning though, and it'll tell you like kind of give you more notice in terms of the information that you should know when you're doing it. But overall, yeah, very nice to see. Nice software with like a lot of languages available, but they really do need to fix that bottom portion because it was super frustrating to deal with. Now going into Apex Legends to show you guys like how it works with the things that I use actually like rapid trigger for. So the lower settings that I use it, I specifically use it to do like super glides, because super glides is a frame perfect thing in Apex Legends. Now I know you don't have to do super glides in Apex Legends anymore, but you know, there's benefits for both in terms of different situations. I grabbed a shotgun because if you have a gold bolt on it and you pull off a super glide, it actually does auto reload. And it was very easy to use it with this board. So I was doing super glides very easily. Very simple stuff. And you know, the fact that you do have a lot more room in terms of like the actuation points you can change, yeah, it's nice to see, like compared to say a booting, which you can only like 0.1. You know, this one you can actually go down a little bit more in terms of the accuracy of it. Now, one benefit of Hall effect boards as well is that, like for example, recoil control. So Apex Legends has a little thing called recoil smoothing. If you're moving, you actually get a little bit of recoil reduction. And you know, if you spam AD on a Hall effect board very quickly, you actually do get a bit of that recoil reduction like as well. So I noticed this specifically with Hall effect boards. I couldn't replicate it with mechanical keyboards. Even when I spam AD, it's a little bit harder. I think it's because due to the low actuation, it's just a little bit easier to get that quick spamming going through inside of the game. Now, in terms of the switches as well, so I was showing you guys before, I'm actually changing out the switches in the bottom left corner just to see, you know, does other switches work and will it work at this board, because OneofZero again confirmed that you can use any switch that would work in a Routing in this board. So I grabbed the Keychron J deltas just to see would it work inside of this, and you know, will have any issues or will it glitch out or anything. And as you can see, when I did input the switches in here, you'll see that I'm not going to have any issues with the switches not working. So like it'll move left and right, I'll have no issues. So we can see it does work. And you know, that's something that's really good, because you're going to want to customize the switches, right? Some people out there are going to want to try different switches, better switches, especially when the Lime switch actually has a bit of that top out noises. So overall, I think definitely this one is a really nice board for the fact that it is able to hot swap into other switches, not just the ones that are from Keychron. Though I think the ones from Keychron should be able to work with other stuff. But, you know, if they say that it doesn't, I would probably not risk it, just because it might be due to the magnetic polarity, and it might affect the sensors in the long run. Maybe not in the short run, but in the long run. And then overall, yeah, I actually did appreciate using this board. Didn't have any issues in terms of playing games with it. I was actually enjoying using it. The only thing is it's hard to get used to the 75% when you played with the 60% for so long, because the ESC is just so far up. Now going into Valorant, we're going to test to see how does Rappy Snappy work. So I'm going to show you guys when I'm doing something without any Rappy Snappy. As you see here, like it stops, right? So you have full on braking when you're pressing A and then you press D after. Now if I go in and then set up Rappy Snappy, which is going to be their snap action, you'll see that it's going to actually change up a little bit more in terms of how the movement's going to work. So right now it's not fully set. I haven't actually set it in yet, like to confirm the actual settings, just to show you guys like how different it can be in terms of the braking system. So you see like how my movement gets cut each time, and then now when I actually go and confirm the setting and I actually have it running, you'll see how there is no actual braking moments in between my movement, where like I'll actually just keep moving and moving left and right. So you see here, it happens where like if I'm pressing A and then I press D, like it's just holding the key. So there isn't a moment where I just completely stop. It's just consistent movement. So I just have to practice where I'm going to be having that little bit of that move, stopping in between, and then shoot to make sure the shooting's accurate. So we can definitely see here that it does work and there's no issues with it. So now going into seeing like comparative with other keyboards out there and really seeing it in my spreadsheet. So the thing you'll notice here is this Hall Effect board. It's a 75% board, and we can see that it's a plastic case, it's wired, and the price is $111. So as we see through the spreadsheet and going through it, we'll notice that there's a lot of different boards that I've tried, right? I don't actually have every single board I've tried in here either, but overall, around the similar price range, like a little bit more expensive, you're looking at a Si75 HE and the Wamir SK75 TMR, and they're like around like $20 more, right? The Limo key, on the other hand, is like $100 more for like $210. And then we have different budget boards out there as well, right? Like we have some like really budget ones, like the Ueden at like $46, the Mchos at $44. This one, I think, in terms of like overall everything considered with the software and everything, the $111 is definitely, I would say, some people might think a little bit too pricey. But I think at a okay price point when you consider the quality and everything with the software, you are working with a board that has some interesting pros to it, right? The fact that it has some customizations to it, right? So you can change the different color of this board with like the back dampening. You can also change the keycaps, like they provide it for you. You can also change like the side accents, the volume knob. Those things are really cool things that, you know, is available for this board that say other boards aren't fully able to do. And the fact is it uses a Keychron software. So even though it's a OneofZero board, it has the Keychron software, which is a lot better than most other softwares out there. And the fact that even though it is a Keychron board, you can use other switches. I think the software, yeah, if they fix, you know, the whole like fitment issue with the bottom portion, it is an 8.5 software. Right, it's an 8.5 out of 10 when you consider like everything that's available with it and all the parts that work with this specific software. I would say they just have to fix that part, but overall, very good. And it's a web app, so you don't even have to download it, right? That makes it really easy to use. The typing sound, I gave it a 7.5 just because of the top out sound in terms of the switch, the lime switch. I think it's going to be a much nicer board to use with different types of switches. And overall, I would say that, yeah, I think for the price, the Si75 is going to be a very decent board to grab. I'll have the links in the description for you guys to even go check out yourself. I think OneofZero did something really nice with this one, for sure. Hope this video helped you guys to see whether or not the Si75 is a board you should grab. It's a really interesting board from Keychron in collaboration with OneofZero, and I'll have the links in the description for you guys to go check it out. Go check out the link in the description for the Discord channel. It'd be really cool to have you guys join in. Recently did a giveaway and Tree won, and congratulations Tree, which they're getting the Wooting 60, my original Wooting 60 that started this whole channel. Hopefully I can do more giveaways, which I'm gonna see what kind of surprises are gonna come next. But please make sure to like and subscribe, check out the other videos I got, and I'll have to catch you guys next time.